High School Bathroom Simulator. The best video game ever released. I don't care what you show. Oh, Silent Hill has the best graphics. High School Bathroom Simulator. Oh, blah, 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 blah. You know what? No. This game takes 15 minutes to complete. I have played it for over 4 hours. Bobby Bird has my life. And I thought I would only credit him by putting the best video game into the second best video game. Super Smash Bros. And yeah, I guess Smash is cool. There's a reason why it's second best. But come on. In Smash, you don't get to fight off a totalitarian regime because someone decided to protest against washing. That just doesn't happen in Smash, which is why it's only second place. But it's still pretty cool, so I thought it'd be nice to make a moveset for him. Now, on to the basic attacks. For his jab, he'll throw a roll of toilet paper. Does very mid damage, but at the same time, it also is very quick to come out and has a 10% chance to trip foes. For his dash, a puddle will appear in front of him, for which he'll slip. Good knockback, but mediocre damage. For his side tilt, he'll dash his hand forward as a reference to the Smash tournament we see in the game. To further reference this, the side tilt will act exactly like Fox's. For his up tilt, he will shoot out a load of soap from a soap dispenser. It's quick to come out with weak damage, but has a 3% chance to reverse the foe's direction for 3 seconds, and has a 1% chance to emit the flower effect. For his down tilt, he will cause a broken urinal to appear. It's very slow to come out, but it has heavy damage. For his side smash, a urinal will appear in front of him. Touching the urinal does massive damage but no knockback. After the animation finishes, the urinal will actually stay on stage for a couple seconds before disappearing, like a weaker version of Snake's old down smash. Only one urinal can be on screen at a time per kid clone, and if you try to use the side smash while it is still on stage after the animation finishes, the urinal will disappear. For his up smash, he'll summon a hand dryer. A kind of gimmicky move where the hand dryer will cause a wind box to spin around it, doing no damage but a lot of knockback, where actually touching the hand dryer itself doesn't do knockback and will instantly shatter the hand dryer but does a lot of damage. His down smash will cause 2 big buff men to appear over him and start fighting. It leaves Kid vulnerable but does a good amount of damage without any knockback and very slow to come out. His neutral air will be the same animation as his side tilt, and to reference the same gimmick as his side tilt, it will act exactly like Fox's neutral air. His forward air will act exactly like his forward smash, without any difference, and the same limitations apply. His back air will be the most obvious, and just have Kid fart. It does small flinching damage, but has a 10% chance to cause the flower effect. His up air will have a big buff hand, simply punch Kid upwards. It sends Kid flying pretty far, which can be a good backup recovery in a situation where your up special doesn't work, for whatever reason. And also does good damage, but a heavy end lag, along with putting you into free fall. His down air will have a towel dispenser appear under him. Does minimal damage, but can spike. For his grab, Kid will simply wave hello with a random text box appearing above him. This references the actual dialogue in High School Bathroom Simulator. His pummel, he'll need a foe, doing exactly as much damage as, ya guessed it, that's right, the one and only Fox's pummel. For his forward throw, a door appears in front of Kid, which he slams open. The text box switching to, why are you here? For his back throw, Kid will shout behind the foe, screaming, we won't wash! The text box switching to the exact same thing. His up throw will have the principal simply appear underneath the foe and shut up from the ground, launching the foe upwards with the text box switching to I'm disappointed, and his down throw will have the screen go completely black before the foe has taken a lot of damage and is left confused and a shield break. The text box switching to don't waste my time. His neutral special at his gimmick will be a long one, which is the reason I'm reading this one directly from the script instead of from memory. Throughout the entire stage, there will be a bunch of random NPCs scattered throughout that you can interact with by pressing neutral special. They will do nothing until interacted with and can only be interacted with by either Kid or a Kid clone. There can only be 4 NPCs on stage per Kid player at a time. After 5 seconds, a random NPC is replaced. Only Kid can interact with these NPCs as previously previously mentioned, and even then, only using his neutral special, with one exception we'll get to later. There are 3 different kinds of NPCs, the first being major ones, which include the protesters, SC units, and the cool kid. Once interacted with, they will appear on stage and do something pertaining to them for 10 seconds before leaving. No major NPC can appear while one is on stage, and still can't appear until another 5 seconds after one is left. Additionally, each major NPC will have a higher chance of spawning if certain throws are used. Forward throw will cause the cool kid to appear more often, the back throw will cause protesters to appear more often, the up throw will cause SC units to appear more often, and the down throw does nothing, just in case the player wants to use a throw and not necessarily wants to summon a specific kind of NPC. Next are minor characters, which include the Mint Eater, the Argumentative Kids, the guy next to both of the Metal Stalls, I don't have a name for him, I'm just going to call him the guy next to both of the Meta Stalls, and a Tired Kid. Only 2 of these guys can be on stage at a time, but there is no cooldown in between summons. We'll talk about the third category when we get to the down special. The first kind of major NPC that can appear is a protester. He'll walk around a stage hitting the closest person to them with a sign, which can include the person who summoned him. He is completely unbiased. Anybody hit by the sign will take high fire damage and gain the flower effect, but no knockback. If he uses the sign 3 times, then he will leave, starting the 5-second cooldown. The SC unit chases the person at the lowest damage percent, which again can include the person who summoned him, and attempts to throw him off stage. He is very slow and can easily be avoided, but if caught, it could easily lose you a stock. He will not leave until the 15 seconds are up. The cool kid, once interacted, will appear at a random part of stage and act at a wall that only the person that summoned him can pass through. He's tall enough to prevent people from getting over him with a single jump, but short enough to double jump over. He will also block all attacks and projectiles except from the person who summoned him. He will not leave until the 15 seconds are up once again. For the minor NPCs, the Mint Eater, once interacted, will appear at a random part of stage. He'll make all platforms slippery, and once touched, will cause people to freeze, which again includes the person who summoned him. The Argumentative, anyone, including the person who summoned him, on the same platform as them will gain the flower effect, and staying on stage for 3 seconds will cause sleep, so you need to constantly be jumping. The Meta Stall Kid, once summoned, he will heal everyone in the match of 20% before disappearing. The Tired Kid causes everybody in the match to move slower for the first 10 seconds of his presence, before making every character move faster for the last 5 seconds of his presence, to reference the second wave of protesters. His side special will cause a wave of fire to appear in front of him, acting exactly like Lucas's PK Fire. His up special will have an SC unit throw him upwards. This doesn't put you into free fall, but you can't use the up special again while on the ground. And for his down special, the third type of NPC that I mentioned earlier would be a use stall. There will always be at least one use stall on stage, and they can only be interacted with by using the down special, which will let him enter the stall. While in the stall, Kid will be allowed to heal up lost damage at a very slow rate, but if attacked while in the stall, you will take double damage. You can always leave the stall by pressing down special again. For his final smash, it'll be a cinematic that starts with Kid throwing out the exact same radar used in Fox's final smash. Any foes hit will be pulled into the cinematic, showing them walking across endless gray halls as they slowly but surely get more decrepit. By the time of the ending of the final smash, the foe will simply dry up and turn into a skeleton. They then return into normal combat. It will only do damage, but any foes that take over 100% of damage will instantly lose stock. His first costume, we could see him in his attire we see throughout the game. The second costume could have him be completely dark gray with only a black outline to reference the people we see peeing in urinals. The third costume could have him have his hat tilted backwards, all white with an angry expression, to reference the Smash tourney we see at the beginning of the game. Well, not at the beginning, but at some point early on. The fourth costume could have him completely dark clothing without any eyes, to reference ESC units. The fifth costume could reference the Pico that we see in one of the stalls. The sixth costume could reference the Cool Kid we see at the beginning of the game and during the time of the SC units. The 7th costume could simply have him don a goldfish head to reference another stall, and then the 8th costume could have him knock off a discount Bart Simpson. Also, to add a little bit more, if you donned a Bart Simpson costume, all of his taunts will have him say, "Cowabunga." For his stage, it could just be called the men's room. It's a looping stage without any hazards, which honestly, I'm surprised Smash doesn't have. Like, I know we have Final Destination, we have Bridge of Eldin, we have things that are close, but just a completely flat stage that loops doesn't exist, and that annoys the hell out of me, so I thought I might as well fulfill that niche. For his stage entrance, a thought bubble appears above Kid's head before he looks both ways, to reference the beginning of the game. For his taunts, Kid gets on his Nintendo Switch and starts playing Smash Bros, violently shaking it. His second taunt could just have Kid readjust his hat, with his third taunt have him look at the camera while tapping his foot, his idle animation. For his victory animation, Kid sits on a toilet and starts violently shaking to reference the end of the game. The second victory animation could have him put on the face he puts right before he gets on the toilet. I couldn't actually find that face, so I just had him the face he was on the toilet, but I meant the one when he wasn't on the toilet. And final victory animation could be a completely black screen showing High School Bathroom Simulator in shoddy text. So, what did you all think of this style of video? I know it's not my usual, but I thought this game was cool and I wanted to do something. And, you know, if enough people like this, I might do something similar for another less good game, like a mediocre game. Send in your requests if you have any, or don't. I don't care. I'm not your mom. Fuck you, I'm gonna go back to playing this game.